An icebreaker of rock, paper, scissors showed just how challenging it is to win a simple game based upon mostly luck and choices. But the odds of being the winner every time are slim when it comes to agreeing with another person's perspective on life, especially if you are in the minority.
We need to normalize changing our opinions based on facts and other people's opinions, because there's nothing wrong with having one opinion and learning and then changing that opinion. And I think that's what people are scared of. They don't want to be wrong. No one wants to be wrong.
Team Raw is a youth mentoring group that supports and empowers youth who struggle with peer pressure because they may associate differently. It was obvious in this activity that most people have been hurt or bullied for things they have had no control over.
If someone has ever made an uncomfortable joke about your race, ethnicity, religious background, or gender, move into the circle. It kind of opens up the conversation. It allows people to be vulnerable and find a safe place to be able to share, and then hopefully lead us to some solutions.
Team Raw reached out to people in the community to share their thoughts on what's going on in our nation with Black Lives Matter protests and the reasons behind them.
We know all lives matter. We never said all lives don't matter. We just need everybody's help because Black lives are in danger. All of us have been on the seesaw, correct? And we've been going back and forth, right? I go, you go, we go, right? But we're working together. And what the Black Lives Matter is saying is that the seesaw is uneven and you're not playing fair. So it's time for you to pay attention.
I listen to my parents, I listen to my grandparents. This is nothing new, you guys. This has been happening even before them.
So if I was to stand here and say that we haven't experienced any racial drama, I'd be lying. But as a black man in St. George, you have to rise above that.
So what is the police department doing to rise above this and be inclusive in St. George?
We try to promote feelings of inclusiveness with everything that we do, and not just with minority communities specifically, but with anything. The LGBTQ community, for example, we try to reach out and try to make sure that we can do our best to understand and listen.
We need to focus on individualism and looking at people as people rather than seeing their surface and prejudging them, regardless of race.
We wanted to kind of, at least for our community, create a united front, if you will. There's a lot of bad stuff going on, but Little St. George, I mean, we have our problems, but we don't have to make it like the way things are going out there.
At the end of the 3-hour conversation, all agreed that people need to educate about other viewpoints when it comes to history.
It's good to learn not just white history, all history. And that's just really important to me.
Us teaching the youth, there is a history with a lot of things that are going on, but with what Team Raw, what we're doing is try to create a whole new history. So Dixie now to a lot of kids is good people, big hearts, helping one another.
We need to also start thinking about it. How do we teach it in our classrooms? And if we're not putting in our classrooms, what are parents doing and communities doing to share these different layers of culture that we have in the United States?
But most of all, they need to be open-minded and learn from each other in order to make any needed changes.
Recognizing that feeling inside of yourself and being motivated enough to do something about it. Because it's so easy to sit back and feel a way about something but not say anything.
It is up to me to figure it out. It's not for Black people to tell me how to do this. It's for me to be educated and to learn the things that I need to learn.
I want to be called out. I want to know. I want to do different. I want to do better. And I just want to show the love that I know is in my heart.
Everyone in this room is here for a reason. Whether you're with it or you're not, you're here for a reason.
This is the beginning and it's not going to end. Don't be scared of change and don't do it on your own dime. Do it every day, all day, in all spaces.
Be open. There's nothing wrong with being open to learning more. No one knows everything. Learn everything you can.
One of the biggest things that I've learned from here is not us against them. God is not the whole process. it's a collaborative effort.
But now we're starting to listen to what they're saying and actually taking what they're saying and put it into action.
In St. George, Melissa Anderson, Community Education News.